Hello. So I know I'm live now, but hopefully I can. All right. So there, I can see if people come in. Oh, so it's the anniversary, and it's Coach Colette, transitional life coach for mothers who have lost their children and are trying to find life afterwards. I'm gonna just wait a few minutes and see if we get some viewers. I did a video earlier, and I'm doing a second one now. So I will just hold off for a minute. I'm not sure how to invite people on the iPad, so I'll leave it alone because I finally got it sitting up where I don't have to hold it and look down at it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. As this video is also labeled the anniversary. The first video was also labeled the anniversary. And I just thought that today I would, throughout the day, go live and have some candid conversations about my day. And I call it my day because it is the day in which my son transitioned. He died. And so there are some things that I do, or that I think, that I feel, that I allow myself to do when this time comes around. The other thing is that I call it the anniversary because anyone who loses a loved one has a anniversary date, a date in which they left. And for mothers, that's the date in which their child left. So when we think about the anniversary, or when I think about it, I was up, like I said in my first video, I was up early this morning, probably around 3 a.m. And I thought about the whole day 5 years ago, this day 5 years ago, when my life changed. And maybe a couple of hours is when it all started. A couple hours from now. But I started thinking this morning, I remember that day much like I remember the day in which I gave birth to him. And I think thinking about that took me back to some very, some detailed information that made my heart heavy, that made me cry, and made me go through some emotional feelings in light of it being his and I anniversary. When we think about anniversaries, most of the time we think about happy times. I thought about his birth and how we would celebrate every year on his birthday. But when his anniversary of death comes around, the phone doesn't ring. Some people don't really reach out to you like they used to. And a lot of people almost forget. And honestly, I say almost, but a lot of people do forget. And sometimes we feel, we might feel slighted, angry, upset at the people who do forget. And I talked about this a little bit in the video prior. But I want to talk about why they might forget. And it's not, we shouldn't hold it against them. No matter how close they are to us, no matter how much we think that they should remember. The thing is, for mothers, especially mothers, I'm talking from a mother perspective, and I can talk also from a sister's perspective because I lost a brother. But from a mother's perspective, we have cared for, and for some of us carried, nurtured, and it's a day that we could never forget. And that's because we've been so involved in their lives. So we could never forget. People forget sometimes because their lives have went on. And although today I felt a place of stillness, and I know that people who know what loss is knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that stillness. Like everything is moving around you, but you're in slow motion or at a complete halt. that still comes back for me from time to time, and especially around birthdays and between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's when my son transitioned, right between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so that still place we feel, and I'm not sure that everybody around us has, will feel that thing. And so we, for those who go through the grieving process, for those who have lost and have those places where they feel a little stalled, for me today is an anniversary. Anniversaries, I know, are difficult for all parents, not just mothers, but I can talk from a mother's perspective. It is a difficult day. Some people choose to be around a lot of their families. Some choose to be isolated. Some have started traditions or will start traditions in light of the anniversary. And so when we think about that, I just want to stress that we should not be angry with people who forget the anniversaries. The other thing is, in talking to a friend of mine one day, she shedded some light for me to understand how people who are close to you don't really know what to say. If they don't know what to say, then we sometimes expect them to say something in a situation that they're not sure on what to say or how to say it. And that gave me freedom to not hold against people who didn't know or didn't say anything, because now I realize that they didn't know what to say. When an anniversary or a birthday comes around for a loved one or a child that you have lost, people may not know what to say. It's a difficult space because, to be perfectly honest, as a mother who has lost a child, I don't always know what to say. I don't know always what to do. But I do know this, that every day has been a process. Every anniversary, when I think about the last 5 anniversaries, I am very thankful to God that I am able to sit and have this conversation on this live video or live chat or whatever you want to call it, Facebook Live, with you. Because I remember when I couldn't raise my head up off the pillow on the first anniversary. I remember where there were 2 months from November to January, I didn't want to be bothered with anyone. And with every single year, things have gotten better. Grief doesn't go away, but it gets a little lighter every year. If you work through the process, if you allow yourself to feel, if you force yourself to move, if you allow yourself to feel and you force yourself to move and you get involved in some things. And I didn't repeat that because I forgot I said it. It's because I repeated it because it is a repetitive behavior. It is, yes, I allow, yes, I force myself to be more or do more or go more or be more involved. So I wanted to just say that some people just don't know what to say. And we have to, as mothers, forgive those people who have not or may not know who haven't said anything or don't know what to say. It's not that I believe that people don't have compassion, because they do. It's just that they have a hard time expressing it. I thought about also, the third thing I thought about today is this. When we think about the process of grief, and in the same conversation with a friend of mine, she said, I avoided the conversations with you because it would allow me not to grieve. When you've lost a loved one, and especially from a parent perspective, a mom's perspective, you have been forced into a grieving space that you didn't ask for. I didn't ask for this grieving space. And oftentimes I wish it never had happened. But I couldn't change it once it did. I had to make choices on what I would do with it, how I would operate in it. And so when she said that, it shedded light for me. And thank you, viewers, for joining. I see that there are 2 viewers. Thank you, Shalonda. And I don't know who the second viewer is, but But my friend shedded light for me to know that I've been forced into grief, but not everyone around me has been. And even those that have been, that are around me, don't grieve exactly the way that I do. And so I had to start allowing space, regardless to what the day was, the event, and all of those things. So for me, yes, today's the day that my son was shot. Tomorrow is the day that he actually died. That's difficult for me to say on this broadcast. And although I have walked through those series of events, I know that I'm a lot stronger now. And that's the fourth thing I want to say today. That people will take the strength that you exhibit as if it's a place where you don't need help. And that's not a valid place. If I don't want to say anything else on this video, I want to say that. Because I appear to be strong, and I know that mothers appear to be strong, they get through a lot, they persevere, they push, they move, and they just go. And sometimes it's on autopilot, and people don't necessarily realize that even the strong need a hug. Even the strong need a message stating, I'm thinking about you. Even the strong desire to just have a sense of compassion around them. And especially on anniversaries and birthdays, when they know that that a person has lost, that a mom has lost, a friend has lost. I make it my personal endeavor to try and remember when the people around me have lost loved ones. And the reason that I do is because I know that journey. It is a journey. This year is one of the best years I've had since my son died. And what I mean by that is I didn't start a month out feeling somewhat of depression or feeling isolated. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. I can say that almost in the place of tears, because I look where I came from, and I look at what God has called me to do. Another thing that I want to say, which would probably be the fifth thing that I didn't even have in my mind to say to you all, is this. When I think about being forced into the grief process, and I'm saying being forced because I didn't get to choose his day that he would leave. And that is something that we have to, as a people, not as a race, but as people in general, oftentimes we don't want to discuss death. And because we don't discuss it, when it happens, it catches us so off guard. We don't even know how to feel. We're not even sure exactly how to take it. Some people become angry. Some people become isolated and move to different states, different countries to avoid the grieving process. As a people, we have to stop avoiding talking about death, because death and grief go hand in hand. I'm not saying we got to talk about it to the point that it's talked about at dinner every day. But I am, however, saying that we need to have those difficult conversations, because there's a lot of unfinished business when that time happens, because we did not discuss our wishes. We didn't discuss how we would like things to be, how we would like people to continue to exist. So it catches us off guard. But I want to say, and I'm going to go back to the fifth thing that I wanted to say. I got off on a tangent because I think that's important for me to say and to begin to communicate to my followers, to the people who are on my page, is that we have to start addressing that conversation. Death is real. We are avoiding a conversation that is inevitable. We talk about money. We talk about what's next for our life. We talk about the great things that we want to do, but we will not talk about the thing that is inevitable. Everybody wants to run away from that. And I think it's something that we should at least have a discussion with our loved ones so they know exactly where we are, what we desire, and how we desire them to even move on with their life after our life is finished. So I'm done with that on this video, but I am going to start encouraging people to have that difficult conversation. I made my mind up about that today. Now, the fifth thing that I was going to mention is this. I didn't get to choose the total destiny of my life. There were things that I wanted to do. And in light of my son passing, I think about, and this had me in a lot of tears today, so I hope I can make it through this. I think about the fact that everything that I am and that I desire to do today is because of his life. I always desired to be a public speaker. I always desired to help people. But the flip side of that is that I didn't get to choose the subject matter. And I'm okay with that. I'm not angry about that, because to me it's legacy. But because of his life, I am who I am. Because of his life, I'm Coach Colette today. Because of his life, I speak and advocate. I'm a public speaker for the Wisconsin Donor Network to advocate for organ donations. Because of his life, I sell and give away transitional shawls to people who are transitioning in life, whether that be in business, whether that be in death, whether that be with having children. Every bit of our life is a transition. And that word transition means so much to so many different people. And that's why those shawls have come about. When I think about that, Michael's life means so much, even while he was here and now that he's gone. His mother is who she is because of his life and because of the legacy in which he left. These tears that you see, and even this face looking like this, I hope that this didn't happen, but it did. This is what the anniversary is like for me. I contemplated whether I would go live and have this video broadcast to the viewers who would do it live and those who will watch the replay on my page. I decided that I would, and I said this in the first broadcast, is this. Oftentimes we paint a picture for people of what we would like for them to see. And we tune that to however will be beneficial to us. But this right here that you see on the anniversary of my son's death is this. This is real. This is what made me who I am the other 363 days out of the year. This is what got me to this place to help other people so that as they go through this process, they know that there's somebody who is going through with them, that has been through, and that from time to time still goes through. I think that's important for the people who trust me enough to be a part of their life, a part of their process, a part of their grief, and truly a part of their pain and loss. I think this is important. So, I wanted to share this today with you. I believe that everything that I've said on this video is the thoughts that I've had throughout the day. And I hope that it helps someone as it's shared out, as it's viewed. I pray that it does. I pray also that if you need help getting through the process, the anniversaries, the birthdays, that you reach out to me, that you inbox me, that you go to my website, welovedandlost.com, that you go to my page on Facebook, welovedandlost.com. At We Loved and Lost on Facebook, and you reach out, because I know that this process, it can be lonely. Today I have to say I felt lonely, but I chose to be lonely. It wasn't as if I couldn't reach out to someone. There's some times like that where you have to process what it is you feel, and every person doesn't get the opportunity to indulge. It is my personal choice to have this conversation with you today. For one, like I said, I need you to know that I'm a real person. That although I'm called to coach and to aid and assist you through the process that you have, although I'm called to do that, it doesn't make me exempt from having that same process. I do hope that you will share this video with all of the people that you know may need it. And whether they follow me or not, I hope that they would. But even if they didn't, as long as it reaches one person, because that's my mission, that if I could have one person know that I care and that I've been through and they are not alone, then everything that I do is worth it. It's worth it. In the name of Michael's legacy of life, I loved and I lost, but you don't have to do it alone. I thank you for viewing, all of the viewers who have, and those that will view the replay. Everybody have a wonderful day. I love you.